Hi, this is Jando with the DNB Academy, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to make modern percussion loops with Serum. Alright, so let's move on to our project. And I did this pretty cool drum loop that consists of samples from Jest's DNB Academy pack. All of them, the kick, snare, and heads. And what we're gonna do, it's pretty much fill in this loop, this break that seems a bit empty. And even if it doesn't sound that empty, if you want to add those classic modern percussion loops, the best way to do those are starting off by using your Serum to make them. So let's listen to this loop, and then we'll start designing our percussion. All right, let's go. All right, so if you're sitting at this spot and you feel like you want to add some more energy to your track, and sometimes percussion is the best way to go. In some of these cases, it might even like totally change the vibe of a tune. So let's start by loading our Serum, turning off all these oscillators. We don't need them. We're just gonna use the noise oscillator. And we're gonna choose something it's a bit flat. We don't want anything with too much harmonics, that you've got some noise wavetables here that add a bit like that. So we're just gonna go with like white noise, and then the magic's gonna be all up in here. So let's put this in trigger mode, so it's being triggered regardless if you're playing key or not. So let's just make something like this. Then we're gonna choose the ramp down. You could eventually increase the grid up to 16 if you want to have more detail, but I'll rather have it at 8 and then playing around with the rate later. So let's press our shift and then left mouse button so we can draw ourselves a pattern. So let's make something a bit more like this, so it has a bit more dynamic, which we will tweak later. Obviously, this is just for starters. This is something that you will do every time you want to do something like this. All right, so now let's assign this to the volume of our noise oscillator. And let me close Serum just to add a MIDI track here. MIDI clip, I mean, sorry. Now that we have our MIDI clip placed, let me switch to this. I'm just gonna play a note. Straight note all the way. And we're gonna solo it. This is how we left it. So let's play with our rate. This is what we're looking for. Now, first things first, we need to create a bit more dynamic and realism to our envelope here, to our LFO in this case, because it does really sound like 100% digital. So we need to humanize this a little bit. So for that reason, we're gonna create a bit of these. First things first, we actually gonna have to create another click here in this area, because that way, oh sorry, we need to add another point. So that way we can actually do the same that we're gonna do now, which is selecting all points, and now we're gonna place them a bit off, so that doesn't sound too clicky. Hear the difference? Like a bit more washed down, even though we want that clickiness too much. All right, now let's just decrease all of these because it's too long. Then we will obviously make the changes along the way, like depending on what we're looking at. Now we can actually listen with the drum, so we can have our own groove. it fits. This is what we need for now. Something like this. All right. We can actually increase the volume. Now, first thing, we're going to turn on filter. And we're going to select iPass here, iCut here. So iPass, sorry. So we can actually remove all these lower frequencies that noises usually have. So we're going to make it somewhere like here, so we don't lose the transient spot, which sits around 1K, 2K area. Let's have it somewhere around here. Increase the master a little bit. And now we can actually pitch this up a little bit. It already sounds a bit more like a hi-hat percussion sort of thing. Okay, awesome. Now we're going to go into the FX section. I'm going to turn on our chorus. Put the low pass filter like here. So we have this wideness coming in. Okay, great. Now let's start processing the actual patch itself. Even though it already sounds pretty good, in my opinion, and it gives a whole new width to the track, so it's already beneficial. So first things first, what we're gonna do, it's add a bit more character to it and add a bit more let's say texture. So I'm going to use RC20 for that from Excellent Audio. It's a really cool plugin for this type of things. So just gonna increase the noise, and let's go with white as well, because that's what we previously did. All right. Get the lows and some of the mids. Let's make this follow. Okay, awesome. We can even pitch this up a little bit. All right. And now we're gonna use isotopes. Actually, we're probably gonna go with kilohertz transient shaper afterwards. And with this transient shaper, what we're gonna do is pretty much make this sound a bit shorter and less of hat feeling. It sounds like it's a bunch of hi-hats playing, and we want this to feel a bit more like a percussion. And for that, we're gonna use the transient shaper, and then we're gonna EQ it and give couple of boosts here and there, so this sounds a bit more like a clap, like a percussion loop, I mean. So okay, we want the attack to be, you know, pretty intense in this case, so we can get back some of those clicks. And now here, gonna put the sustain not all the way down, but close. Increase the speed. Now we have our sound a bit shorter. Now let's go with our EQ. Let's use Pro Q for that. Let's boost some of these sections that are a bit more helpful if you want to get that clean percussion sound rolling. So let's make like really steep and hard boosts at these spots, like really depends on what you're looking for. Right, now getting back to serum, let's increase some of these points. Can actually pitch it up even more here. Or no. Maybe like this. And let's browse the phase. We can maybe find some cooler spot. pretty nice to me. And now to close things, we're gonna add outputs devious machines texture, just to add a bit more texture to it. That way you can easily make this 3 plugin patch sound like an actual percussion, but you made it from scratch using just plugins, which is awesome. So let's go with the percussion option here in the input. We have like some tambourines, some gongs, and we're gonna have like full attack on it, a bit of decay. You can hear it. Now let's fool around with the mix a little bit. Now the pitch. Let's place the EQ after the texture, so we can now pick up on some other harmonics here. Let's make a steep low cut here. All right, there we go. I think we have it. It sounds pretty good to me. So let's just create an audio track and resample this to audio. We hit record button, we arm the resampling track, and there we have it. Okay, now that we got this on audio, this will allow us to play around with the actual placing of the audio file into the sequencer. Like if we use it like here, for instance, it's going to change the overall groove. Like, and the best thing about it, it's you can actually create another audio track, for instance, and we've got this section here that adds a bit more shakery feeling, if you know what I mean. And if we do something like this, we have a whole new loop, or even like this. If you just make some volume automations out of this one, you have like a... What we would do, we just like select all of these, Control J, just to consolidate it into one single audio track. Then we would play around with the transients on Ableton or on your DAW. And we have like a really cool shaker percussion loop. And then we have these, still these hits that are a bit different from that one. So we can actually just delete and fill in the gaps with these audio bits. Just put this. I can already see like a pattern. For instance, something like you can even pick this one up and put it like here, like and bang. This is the loop without our percussion, and this is with it. So yeah, this is how you make modern percussion loops with Serum. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.